Hello, everyone, and welcome to Public Opinion College Edition with your host, Pam Morton. I am so excited about this episode of Public Opinion because I have 5 very dynamic college students who are going to be talking about how COVID-19 has affected their college experience. So let's get started and welcome our participants for this week. First, I have Drake Perry. Drake is a first semester senior at Central State University. Drake is majoring in business administration with a concentration in marketing. Next, we have Kara Manuel. Kara is a senior at the University of Michigan, where she's majoring in cognitive science. And then we have one of her rivals from The Ohio State University, Jasmine Jackson Winston. And Jasmine is a third-year biochemistry major, as well as a Spanish minor. And then we have Mylia Avant. Mylia is a sophomore at Howard University, where she is a pre-med and psychology major. And finally, we have Lauren Helmick. Lauren is a freshman at Syracuse University, where she's majoring in finance. So welcome, and I'm so excited to have you all join me this week. Okay, so thank you all so much again for agreeing to join me on the show this week. And I can't wait to hear what your responses are, because I think it's really important to talk about how COVID has affected college students as well. We talk about how it affects, just about everybody else. But I think we need to really talk about how it affects college students, because so much of college is about socialization and things of that nature. So we're going to get started. And first, we're going to look at the public opinion question for this week. How has COVID-19 affected your college experience, i.e. classes, socializing, dating, mental health, etc.? Okay, so I'm going to get started. And Drake, you are from Central State. And go ahead, Drake, and just answer that question for me.
For me, COVID has kind of started an unprecedented time for us, for us students socially and for us academically, as well, as far as criteria and as far as how we go about doing things as an everyday student. For example, my whole college day-to-day life is all handled online, as opposed to anything happening in class or physically or in person, which for me as a student has been ideal. And as a learner, I've learned much better and more hands-on and with my teacher physically in person in class, able to ask a question, able to raise my hand, able to ask after hours. But with it all being virtual and online, it's kind of changed everything and kind of added that extra step to go about doing things to make sure things are done appropriately.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, next, we're going to hear from Kara Manuel. And Kara, again, is a student at the University of Michigan. All right, go ahead, Kara.
Okay, so I guess for me, just like on the personal side, it's been kind of difficult to accept like senior year kind of ending pretty early. Just knowing having to part from like college friends and orgs, and there's like Drake was saying, like the learning style is just so different and more difficult. So like kind of having to say goodbye to college like a whole year early has been pretty difficult, especially when you're not expecting it. But I think like at the university level, I think a lot of the problems that we've seen, at least in Michigan, which were kind of a lot at the beginning of the semester, we had all of our GSIs went on strike, and our RAs went on strike, and our dining staff went on strike. So the university was really struggling at the beginning of the year. So I think there was just like a lot of trust broken between our administration and our students. So I think this campus environment and not having that social aspect has been really troubling. But I think that on that university level, the COVID has really just kind of exacerbated a lot of problems that were already there. So it should be interesting to see how things change on campus after this is all over.
Okay. Yeah, that's something. People going on strike. Okay. All right. And then Jasmine from Ohio State University, The Ohio State University. Go ahead.
So for me, my college experience, like from COVID, has been really stressful. And it's mostly because of like my major. It's a We usually do like tutoring, and you can like do in person, like one-on-one with the teachers, and now everything is online. And for whatever reason, the teachers think that we have more time in the day because we go to online classes, but we really don't. And they give us all this homework. And so in terms of like my mental health, like my anxiety increased. I had to be put on like anxiety meds, and I have sickle cell disease. So like also I get sick. I have to be in a hospital, and it's just like a whole mess. So I wish the COVID stuff would go away because I'm really sick of having to deal with all of it.
Now, Mylia is a student at Howard University. And Mylia, you
Hi,
want to
everyone.
answer that?
Yes, I was just gonna say, I agree with what everyone else has been saying. Like the workload, I feel like teachers are putting more work on this because they feel like we somehow have more time in the day because we're at home. When it's sort of like the complete opposite. It's like you have more that you have to get done around the house or just in your daily life that you're at home and not at school. So that's hard in that aspect. And then for me specifically, I would say I feel like my college experience has like been halted or sort of messed up because you're doing all your classes online, you're not on campus. And I enjoy being on campus and seeing other people, you know, striving towards the same goal that I was. So that really makes a problem for like motivation and things like that. But as far as just trying to figure out what to do, I've just been trying to like find some sort of normal in this new normal that we have. So I hope we go back to our other normal, school-wise at least, to be back on campus. But
Okay. And then now Lauren is a freshman at Syracuse University.
I definitely agree with what everyone's been saying, but I feel like specifically for me as a freshman, it's been super hard because, like your freshman year, you're meeting new people and you sort of have all those like the fairs and whatnot, to like meet new people. So it's kind of been hard for me. Like you're sort of at Syracuse, especially, you're not allowed to go in other residence halls. So you're kind of like stuck with those people in your dorm. And if you do by chance meet someone outside of your residence hall, it's kind of hard to really like build those friendships. And I would also say academically, it's been challenging as well because like Drake was saying, I learn a lot better in person, like being in the classroom, like being present. It just helps me to learn better because I also feel like being online, there is a lack of motivation there. So it's been kind of hard to adjust to that because I mean, from what I've seen, some of my friends will just turn on their Zoom and go back to bed. I mean, I've done that before, but a few times, but so I hope things get better, but a lot of people have been saying we probably won't have a normal-ish freshman year until, who knows, maybe junior year. I hope not, but yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of questions for you all. So Drake, let's start again with you. What exactly is the protocol that is going on for Central State? I know right now you were home on, are all of you all home on like this Thanksgiving extended break now? So Drake, at Central State, are you all back in-person learning, or is it some type of hybrid, or what's going on at Central State?
Well, we are currently on our Thanksgiving and winter break, which have now been merged into one. Before that, we were back in school working on a hybrid schedule. So for a lot of students, you would have, well, it was really random, depending on what your major was and where your classes may be located and how many people would have been in your class. You might have all your classes in person. You might have all your classes online. Me, I had 15 credits this semester, which was about 5 classes, and 4 of them I had online. 1 of them was in person, and we only met once a week. So the hybrid was very hybrid-like. So it was unprecedented, and it was very different for many different people.
So you are you in an apartment or in a dorm, or where are you living?
Currently I'm home, but I live in an apartment. Yeah, I live in an apartment on campus at school otherwise.
Okay, so then you were living in an apartment on campus, but doing virtual learning?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. And so, Kara, now, what about you? What's going on at the University of Michigan?
We kind of had the same situation. We had hybrid learning before we went home. Like we all got kind of like kicked off campus. But I had all of my classes except for one also was in person. For us, I think there are some random classes that were in person. Like my in-person class was a writing class, which is kind of odd because that's like not necessary to have in person. But a lot of the labs were in person, so like biology labs where you can't like do that from your apartment. But like I'm in a physics lab right now and that's virtual, so it's also just kind of random.
So it's just, again, it's just a mix where some of your classes you actually go in person and then some you just do online?
Right. So we also have synchronous and asynchronous like virtual classes. So like our asynchronous virtual classes is like you literally just never come into contact with like another person. You just watch like pre-recorded lectures, and you might have like an in-person discussion once a week. And then our synchronous classes are like live Zoom calls where like you see other students.
So when you have those in person, do they do social distancing, or how many students are in the class?
So at Michigan, there was a cap, I think, on classes, but that had less than 40 people could have the option of being in person. So my one class that we had in person, there were probably about, I think there's about like 20 to 25 kids in the class. And when we were in person, we just went into like a large auditorium, even though there were only 25 of us. And they're marked
spaced out.
Yeah, where you can sit.
Okay. And then what about you, Jasmine? What are they doing at Ohio State?
It's the same. So we have hybrid courses where, depending on your major, you could have online and in-person classes. And then for the online, they have synchronous and asynchronous classes. So for me, most of my classes were online, but I'm in a physics lab, and we have groups. So one person from the group has to go in every week. So I only had to go in like twice or 3 times. And then for chemistry, I had to go in like once every 2 weeks. But yeah, and then
everything was just online.
Yeah, and for my Zoom meetings, everything is asynchronous. So I don't go to any of my lectures. I just watch videos, and like I have a lack of motivation.
I don't even know what you all are talking about with this synchronous stuff. And I'm sitting here I'm trying my best to be like smart. And I'm like, I know I've been out of college for a long time, but I don't believe I've ever heard of whatever it is you all are talking about.
The teacher, they pre-record like the actual lecture, and then they'll just upload it, and you can watch it at your convenience.
Oh, I see. I never knew that was a term. I would have just called it pre-recording.
Yeah, I don't have any motivation to do it, so that's my problem.
I would not have any motivation to do any of the things that you all are saying. It sounds horrible. Everything that you all are saying sounds absolutely terrible. Okay, so Mylea, you're at Howard. However, you all are not on campus at all, right?
Yeah, so my experience is completely different from what everyone else has been saying. So I've been home since March. We were due to go on our spring break, and then we got sort of like evacuated like a little early. So they're like, okay, you have spring break, but if you can, take all your stuff home because you won't be coming back for the rest of the semester. Then they were due to give us an update about if we would be back this semester. And then they were like, no, you're not coming back this semester either. So I've been home since then. Then they sent us another email not too long ago, and we're not going back for the upcoming semester. So basically my whole first semester sophomore year is just home. And it's really weird because I'm pre-med, so I have a lot of science classes. So I have labs, and so I have bio and chem this semester. So I had both of those labs at home, and it was just bad because the teachers, I feel like they weren't prepared for it. And like how like the asynchronous, a lot of my teachers made us do it like on the dot, like whatever time your class was, that's what time you had to be on the Zoom. Like they wouldn't pre-record. So we just had to go to class as if we were on campus, but just from your bed, basically. So it's just like sort of a mess, especially the lab classes. But apparently, the teachers are supposed to be getting trained on how to do online classes. So I guess that means that up until now, they were not trained on how to do that. So it was just a train wreck.
Nobody
But, yeah.
is really prepared for this. And now, Lauren, what are they doing at Syracuse?
It's also pretty much the same thing, like the asynchronous and synchronous, and then hybrid classes as well. And I had 2 in-person classes this past semester, but I feel like for some reason, like our classes, especially our professors gave us kind of the, like, if you're worried about corona, you can stay in your dorm, or like if the weather's bad, or if you just don't feel well, like don't come in person. So then kind of as the rules got more lenient, I feel like people just kind of stopped showing up in person. And because there were like 5 people in person, they would just make the whole class online. So pretty much towards halfway through the semester, I ended up being all online as well. But yeah, the asynchronous thing was hard for me at first, because it was like, where do you fit this into your schedule, like to watch like an hour-and-a-half lecture? So I kind of just stuck to the days that it was assigned, which helped for me. But yeah, it's
well, see, that's the thing. That's the reason I wanted to talk to you all about, because college, at least for me, I know I went to, like I said, I went to Kent State University, and a lot of it was about, you know, the weekends and going to parties and dances and meeting people and dating and, you know, just visiting people at their dorms. And, you know, how are they even working that? Are you all able to go, for you all that are that were on campus, are you able to visit people in their dorms, or is it really strict, or how are they doing that? Anybody can answer that has a that was at campus.
I can't speak to what like the dorm rules are, because I lived off campus in an apartment. But we just kind of, like, me and my roommates kind of just did what we felt most comfortable with. So for me, I work with someone who's very high risk. So I really haven't left my apartment except for to go to work and come back. But I know that other people who like also live off campus will like go to other people's houses. And when it was warm, you could like sit on a porch. But I mean, like living in Michigan, it gets cold pretty fast. So.
But are there rules like about going to different dorms, or how are they working that? Jasmine, are you on campus or are you off campus?
I live in an apartment, but I do know some of the dorm rules. So I know like last year you were allowed to like go into any of the dorms as long as you had like your ID, like your Ohio State ID. You could swipe in as long as it's before 11 p.m. But now they changed that. So if you don't live in the dorm, you can't get in unless somebody opens the door for you. And they have the RAs at the front desk taking your temperature and all that stuff. But yeah, I stayed in my apartment or at my best friend's apartment. I didn't really go into the dorms.
Yeah, so that's one. Another thing is, what are they doing as far as the testing and things of that nature? I know, Lauren, before you went, I remember you had to go, and I think because you're in New York, they actually were saying that you were supposed to quarantine or something for a little while before you even started. And then they test you. How often do they do the testing?
Well, at first it was pretty random. Like if there was a suspected case in your dorm, you would get an email saying that like all the residents of this hall has to go get tested. But towards like the middle of the semester, we started to get tested like every week. And yeah, Syracuse is really strict. Well, New York in general on COVID and like travel restrictions and whatnot, because when I came home for like a weekend, there was a lot of stuff that happened at school and I just like needed to be home. And so my mom decided to fly me back, and literally I was on the plane and I had to fill out like where I was coming from, where I'm going, where I'm staying. And when I got back to school, at first I thought it was like nothing, and I got a text and like a call every day from the like New York whatever CDC, something like that, and they would like ask if I had symptoms, if I'm okay, and like I had to quarantine like in my dorm for 14 days when I got back. So they're super strict on testing.
Well, that's good. And then Drake, what are they doing at Central State as far as testing? Do you all have to get tested randomly, or how does that work?
To begin our semester, we had campus-wide testing for all students that were going to be on campus, as well as off-campus students that were living in the area. And after that, we started to have testing maybe every 2 weeks for the whole campus body. Then they were kind of doing testing based on suspected cases, based on parties or events that people may have been going to off campus. If somebody maybe got COVID from one event, they would want to test and encourage the people that attended that party to also get tested. But now you can't make college students go do it. So I'm skeptical if the numbers are accurate, but they encouraged a lot of students to get tested often. So they kind of left it up to students whether or not you're going to go get tested or not. But the students that did test positive were moved to a dorm that was isolated from other students on campus, so they couldn't,
Yeah, like
they could at least
separate dorm.
Yeah, they're at least trying to monitor the spread.
Well, how has it been? Have you all had a lot of cases on your campuses that you've heard of? You have? It's getting so bad that now it almost seems like everybody may just need to go to like virtual learning just for a little while until everything calms down. But I don't know. But like I said, it has to be just a completely different experience. And I know for the upperclassmen, how does that make you all feel? Just all of the things that have happened, and now your whole socialization has changed. And Jasmine and Drake and Kara, you all are more of the upperclassmen. I would imagine it would have to kind of be a shock to your system and your whole way of enjoying your college experience.
Yeah.
So does it make you feel sad, or how are you all feeling about that?
Depressed, a little bit disappointed, because college is supposed to be that time where you're experiencing new things and hanging out with new people and making memories, and now we have to do all that stuff from the house, and it's not cool. I don't like it. So,
because how do you all handle, like, if you were to meet somebody and you wanted to date, how would you look? Like, would you want them to get a test? I mean, I'm just thinking about how does that even work? Because I don't think I would really want to get too close to people that I don't know unless I knew that they didn't have COVID. So if you all were to meet, how would you do that?
Well, for me, it's you like who you like. So you kind of the virus.
Hey.
The virus is not selective to anybody specific. So, I mean, I guess for college, I would have to advise that you select wisely and you make sure that,
What does that mean?
the person doesn't have COVID. And if you don't have COVID, you can only do what you can.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when you say select wisely, it's not like you don't know if somebody has, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So if you decide to select,
to take your chance if you like somebody a lot, or would you also just as a date go down to CVS, like, hey, instead of going to get something to eat, we're going to go to CVS and do our test, and then we're going to get our results back, and then we're going to take it from there. I mean, I'm just saying, it's just weird to me. It's just, the whole thing is just weird to me. So I'm just wondering how you all would do that. Nobody.
I do technology. I'm a big FaceTime and call type of person. And like I said, I have sickle cell, so I'm very strict on you need to go get tested because I'm not gonna die because you're being stupid. So yeah, I'll FaceTime the person and explain the situation.
Yeah, and then I guess you do, a lot of people do online dating anyway. So I guess, that's a good way of doing things. And like I said, if you're really feeling like you want to be around each other, then I would suggest you get tested anyway. You probably should get tested anyway, just for any number of reasons. But I was just wondering about that. I was just curious about how you all would handle that whole aspect of socialization. And, it's just a different time. It really is. And now let me ask you all this. are you all willing to get vaccinated when the vaccine is available for the general public?
I will not be getting vaccinated. I don't know. I just don't trust it. They're trying to move really fast, and it takes a long time to get a vaccine. Like, it took a long while to get a flu vaccine, and even still, the flu vaccine that there is now, people still get sick. I know I don't get it. The one time I got it, that's the sickest I had ever been. So I don't trust it. So I will not be taking it. But I wish well on the people who do, and I hope it works. But I won't be a test person to see if it works or not.
And you're a pre-med major, right?
Yes, I am.
And then Kara, you said you will get it, right?
Yeah, I'm also actually pre-med. And, I know that the US government doesn't really have the best track record with honesty and treating people, especially Black people, well with experimentation and things. But in this situation, I don't know. I just feel like that's the only way we're getting out of this, is with the vaccine. I know my dad has actually been part of one of the trials.
Right.
That's gotten the 95% approval so far. So I mean, I think I'll just take my chances. Yeah, I'm ready to be done with
side effects.
Well, the study is a double-blind study, so he doesn't know.
Oh, he doesn't know really if he got the. Oh, okay. Ooh, I wouldn't want to do that at all. That's like Russian roulette. At least let me know. I would be. Oh, God bless him. And what about you, Lauren? Will you think you'll get it?
Yeah, I think I would get it too. Yeah, I agree with Kara how, I mean, it'll definitely be a step towards this all being over. I mean, if it even works. My friend's brother also did the trial. I probably would not do the trial, but once it's better, I think I would definitely get the vaccine.
And now, Jasmine, I know you have pre-existing conditions. You stated you have the sickle cell. And so what about you? Would you get the vaccine?
Yeah, I'm also pre-med. I get it, but it's not gonna, I'm not gonna get it right away. I'm gonna wait until we know what the side effects and everything is, because I'm not risking it. So.
Yeah. And then Drake, what about you?
I am in agreement with Leah very much so, because I am not too trusting of the U.S. government. I think part of what HBCUs promote and teach you is to look at the world from the standpoint of a Black person rather than the general public, and taking things for just trusting the government blindly. So not to say that, Kara's wrong. She knows more about me. She's pre-med, but I am less trusting of the government as a Black man than the average person. So they're going to have to do a little bit more than 95 and 90% to get me to take the vaccine. I need to see 100 and 105, 200%.
I don't think any of them does that much, but
I know, but
yeah. But no, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I'm one of those people who has never even gotten the flu, the regular seasonal flu vaccine. So I think I'm gonna watch and see what happens, and then maybe I will also be able to benefit from other people who get it through maybe the herd immunity, and so many other people getting it that it kind of diminishes. I don't know yet. I really don't know, but I am I'm hopeful about this vaccine, and I'm hopeful about this whole thing being over with so that we can all get back to our regular lives. But Lauren, thank you so much, and Mylea and Kara and Jasmine and Drake, I really appreciate you all taking this time and just being so willing to be a part of this program and to say what your views are. And I certainly hope that you all can enjoy what is left of this college year. And then Lauren, you're a freshman. And I did want to just touch on Lauren just for a minute and just tell you all about the fact that since she is a freshman, she has been affected a lot by COVID. She's been affected by the fact that she really wasn't able to have a normal end of her senior high school year. She wasn't able to go to prom as well as to graduation, and she's starting college in this whole strange thing. So, just it's something how it affects you, but it also shows how strong people are. And so I think that's what's really important, is that we're resilient people. You make the best out of whatever situation that you're given, and then just try to enjoy the life that you have, because so many people are not able to enjoy life anymore because of this. So if you're a little inconvenienced, it's an inconvenience, but it's also a story, and you can tell your kids and your grandkids. You can say, hey, I graduated high school during COVID, a pandemic, and quarantine, and I started college, or I graduated from college and during a quarantine and pandemic or whatever. But just you all, I'm so proud of all of you, and especially the people who are majoring in medicine, because you all are future to maybe look into all of these things and do research or whatever. And then Drake, you are my finance. Is it finance you're majoring in? Business administration and marketing. And yep. I'm just very proud. I'm very proud of all of you. So thank you so much again.
Well, thank you for my first opportunity on TV, and thank you guys, and good luck for you guys in the rest of the year.
All right. Well, I am so very proud of our young people and how resilient they are, and how they are adapting to this new normal, and how even though COVID-19 has drastically affected their college experiences, they'll probably come out of this much stronger, much more resilient people. So thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Public Opinion. I'll see you next time. Please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. And remember, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.